Hey, what's up, Vol fans? Thanks for joining us again today.
hmm
We're going to get into a lot today. Some NBA news for some former Vols, some recruiting. Well, actually, a lot of recruiting. It is
Yeah,
heating up. The month of July is
yeah,
on fire, and not just the temperatures outside, Bob.
yep,
Um, but before we start that, let's talk about a little giveaway we're about to do.
yeah. This nice sign that's in front of us here is we're going to give it away to one lucky subscriber that likes our videos
In comments.
and comments and hit the notification bell. So that's your criteria. You got to be a subscriber. You
Leave
got
that
to
comment.
you got to leave a comment in one of the videos. That's why we're going to track you and hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
So
If you want to hit the like button, hit it 4 times.
right.
You know.
But that's we appreciate we can't track the likes, but we do appreciate if you hit the like button as well. But uh, but do that, please, and we'll
Yeah.
give
It's
us
got a little stand.
yeah,
To
we'll
put on,
stand.
and it's got a thing on the back end. You can hang it on the wall if you wish to.
Yeah, if you'll comment on one of the next 5 videos, and we will give it away to one lucky
Yeah,
winner.
over the next five, starting with this one, right?
That's correct.
Okay, Bob. From there, let's do a quick shout out to some former Vol basketball players who got selected in this year's draft.
Yeah, Jemai Makeshack, drafted by Houston, ended up traded to the Grizzlies.
Last
Um,
pick of the draft.
yep. Uh, That was good for him because honestly, I wasn't too sure if he would get drafted. So uh, that's good for him. I mean, that's something you can, if
You can
nothing
always
else,
say,
you can always say, "Hey, I got drafted."
and you know what? If he makes a team, he's going to help a team.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
he plays hard.
Um, and then Chaz Lanier got picked early second round and went to the Detroit Pistons. And like Pistons got to be glad to get the guy that like of that caliber in the second round. So
Well, one thing about it, I don't think there's nobody around that uh, just a better pure shooter from distance.
yeah,
Uh, he may have some issues, maybe making his own shots and doing some other things like most people have to deal with. But as far as his ability to shoot the ball, man, he's incredible.
yeah,
Um, and a shout out to a couple of guys that's going to be playing some NBA league ball during the summer leagues, and I think Zakai and Jordan Gainey are both going to do a little bit of that
that's good.
to see what they can, maybe grab somebody's attention.
Yeah,
You
never
know,
know.
so happy for those guys. Really appreciate all they've done for the Orange
Heck yeah.
and Rick Barnes on the basketball court.
Yep.
Um, and it's funny too. Before we move on from there, I saw a thing where Nate Mint, our incoming true freshman, 4 different places have him predicted to be the number 4 ball player in next year's NBA draft.
Yeah.
So, be interesting to see what we see out of him this coming year.
Yeah.
But we may be having the same congratulatory
Yeah.
video in
Hopefully,
here.
in one pick. Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then if he is, what
Yeah.
kind of year we've had.
Yeah. If he makes it number one, you're like, dang, we had a heck of a year.
Heck of a year. But I guess, Rob, the big news today is simply it is so hot outside, but it's even hotter on the recruiting trail right now. The month of July, tons and tons of these players are coming off the board.
Yeah. We have had several commit over the last few days, and we got several more hopefully coming. We got this that's closing in. So we're going to talk about the ones that we just got and the
And,
ones that's set to commit that we hope we can land in the next few days. Uh, we got the first guy we're going to talk about is Kendrick Ghostin the second. Probably going to play Leo for us, an industry 4-star prospect.
his father played for Rodney down in Georgia and
Mhm.
about a dozen years or so in the NFL.
Well, he must have left a pretty good impression on his dad for him to commit to Rodney here. Yeah, uh, that's a good get. Ed Baker, interior offensive lineman at 6'4", 315.
Yeah, he's got some versatility in his game too, I believe. Uh, I've seen everybody saying anything from center to actually maybe a right tackle.
Right.
So, um, and he is an industry 3-star, I believe. But if you had to give me a 3-star at any position, I'm gonna go offensive line because those seem to be the hardest outside those very elite ball players
To evaluate.
to evaluate.
Yeah, they are. I agree. That is one where when you start looking at NFL rosters and you look and you're like 3-star, 2-star, 4-star. I mean, that there's all kinds of 3-stars on the NFL offensive lines out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, maybe my favorite might have commit here lately was Legend Bay.
Is that simply because of the name?
That's a nice, good name anyway. He's a slot wide receiver, most likely at around 5'9", 5'10", 170.
Yeah, played quarterback in high school, and his film, Bob.
Nice.
Yeah, he's definitely a superior athlete.
Yeah.
Plays in Texas and gets some good quality competition, and
when you're watching
stands
this
out.
film, that's something that not all film is the same. And when you're watching this film here, you can see. I mean, sometimes you can't tell, but this is some high quality opponents he's going against right here.
Yeah, quite often you see somebody have a 70-yard touchdown, and it looks like somebody like me is trying to chase him.
Right.
Okay, so
Now these are a lot of other Division 1A athletes out there.
oh yeah, I believe that's a really nice pickup, by the way.
Yeah.
And we got picked up Zayden Anderson, also out of Greenville. Um, his offer list isn't the greatest in the world,
Right.
but let's talk about that for a second, Bob. I mean, this year we'll be going up to 105 scholarships.
Right.
So more than likely, we're looking at getting 30 plus commitments. I know right now the USC Trojans #1 team in recruiting rankings, and they have 30 commits already.
Yeah.
It's not even July yet. Georgia's got like 24, and so many's already in the high 20s. But this is a kid. He's 6'1". That's good size.
Yeah.
He's a state champion in track.
Mm-hmm.
In-state kid. I don't care what really his ranking or whatever it is. This is a nice pickup and defensive backfield that we don't put a lot of NIL money into.
Right.
It reminds me a lot of the Luke Thompson commit from a few weeks ago, who's also 6'1" and a track star.
Yeah.
In-state guys you can get fairly, quote, cheaper, and
That's a good point.
has athletic traits that, you can work with. I mean,
Right. Well, I mean, I agree, Tim. I mean, college football is changing all the time. And normally when you're starting getting a lot of 3-stars, you're like, But when you got to realize we're going from 85 to 105, you got to realize that, hey, instead of a lot of preferred walk-ons, you're giving some scholarship to some guys who would have went to,
Louisville, Cincinnati,
yeah,
Randy,
some lower level schools, But
yeah.
so
Just remember that, Pavia.
right. So I mean, instead of letting them go there, you're going to take them in at a place like UT, and hopefully, and the guys I'd be trying to get would be guys like this. I mean, I'm going to get the guys who's got good size, good speed, and hopefully you can teach them how to play some football. And a lot of times, sometimes they've played multiple positions, played out of position.
Mm-hmm.
So with this, maybe you can get a guy who is a little hidden gem, or take the guy who I would be looking for those guys, and I'd be looking for the guys who maybe wasn't the greatest size guys, the greatest speed, but just looked like football players. And those guys get passed up all the time.
Well, Deshaun Bishop's a good example of that. Didn't have a lot of offers, really. We waited forever to see if they was really even going to push as preferred walk-on for him. And
speaking of Deshaun Bishop, recently it was noted on VolQuest that he has gained 35 pounds since being at UT.
it's no big deal. I've gained 35 pounds.
That's easy.
About the same time.
That's right.
That's
easy
a
to
big
do.
deal.
Yeah. Pretty easy to do. That's pretty remarkable.
He's up to 215. That's a bowling ball.
Yeah, and shredded.
Yeah.
The word shredded was also thrown into that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the one zones that could fit me, though.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah. I mean, you're like shredded cheese, you know.
You probably, yeah, I am shredded. There you go, Bob.
But yeah. Uh, but yeah, I just that's the kind of guys you want though, because I mean, and they're local kids, so your NIL amount should be a little less.
Probably getting a little bit of a discount.
Right. Uh,
Um,
going into some guys who,
well, let's look at the overall rankings right now, Bob.
okay,
We are around 15th on three. I think we're down in 30s on 247. I
yeah,
forgot to look at it.
just changing all the time with all
It
these
is.
commits.
With the commits and the fact that they'll have, they redo their rankings every 2 3 months or whenever they do it.
Right.
And
To get updated.
but I've noticed this year there's a bit of discrepancy, a larger discrepancy than normal.
Yes.
Most time, you're within 3 or 4 spots
Yeah, you're
on
15
one or
on
the other.
one, 19 on the other, 12, whatever. But it's actually usually pretty close.
Yeah, this year's a bit different. And what's funny is like a player like Gabriel Senda,
Yeah,
the offensive lineman down Chattanooga area. Even though we're way lower on 247,
yeah,
uh, 247 he's a massive man. He's almost 6'8", 345 pounds, and they have him as the number 4 offensive tackle in the nation, number 19 player in the
yeah.
country, so a 5-star. And then on three, who as a team has us quite a bit higher, uh, he's like the number 59 offensive tackle
Yeah,
instead of
huge.
the play.
Yeah,
One's the
huge
number
difference.
19 player in the country, and the other one's number 59 tackle.
Yeah,
So
and I think part of their problem with on three with his ranking is, as we've mentioned on this podcast many times before, uh, on three, if you're like over 310 pounds as an offensive lineman in high school, they're gonna knock you down.
they
I
ding
mean,
you, and
they don't like the heavyweight guys.
well, they don't because they feel that they've already kind of topped out. Um,
Yeah, that, and I think they don't know exactly what they got. I mean,
they're just big.
if you're dominating, pushing people around at 340 pounds in high school, going against somebody that's 240 on the defensive line, you should push them around.
You should.
So sometimes it's hard to gauge it.
Yeah.
Just like what we were saying before
That's
about
why
the
you
three
see
stars.
David Sanders at 270 and is thought to be a star because he's so athletic.
Yeah,
Because you're going to put on, in which he has, he's already right around 300.
yeah,
Um, so I understand the thought process,
yeah.
but I think they automatically do ding you quite a bit if you're
Right.
just a
So
big guy.
time will tell. It'll be that's a big guy that will be interested in tracking and looking at here in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and say, okay, 24/7 or on three, who got that one right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're probably hit in the middle somewhere.
Probably.
Um, but Bob, it's really just like July is coming up, and it's the commits are about to start flying off the board. We have some dates for a handful of these guys,
You're right.
starting July 1st. Uh,
TJ White.
T.J. Watt, yes, first and off the board.
Looks like that's probably Tennessee on that one. A top 100 player
Number
linebacker.
5 linebacker in the nation, I believe, if I recall,
Uh,
on both
Nine.
on 3 and
That's
247.
be a huge pickup if we pull that one in. We do seem to be the leader on that. His teammate also commits on the same day. And I'm going to screw his first name up. Darion, I think, Albert. But he's in the industry 4-star as well.
Mhm.
Good prospect. And we,
Feeling pretty good about both these kids.
yeah, feel good, pretty good about both. Those come off the board
Be a good
July
way to
1st.
start the month.
And then July 2nd, we get, and I'm not going to even try this guy's first name, Jamyan, maybe?
I'll take it, Bob. It's Theodore.
Okay,
That's his last name.
Theodore.
Yeah.
Cornerback, he comes off the board July 2nd.
Down in Chattanooga area, I believe.
Yes, Baylor, I believe. You have Darrell Rivers, defensive tackle, I believe, coming off July 4th.
Yeah.
Javonte Smith coming off July 8th, and Joel Combe, July 9th. And
Yeah.
then you got Rouse,
Yeah,
Ray
Brayton Rouse.
Rouse, which is another big time linebacker.
Yeah, I think 247 has him number 4 linebacker in the country. So potentially we could get 2 of the top 5 linebackers in the nation on this year's class. It looks like we lead for both.
Right.
I think we've got a prediction in for, I believe White,
Yes, I believe it's
and
White. But I've heard a lot of people think we got Rouse too.
a lot of people think, yeah.
And Rouse is in July, sometime in July. I don't think he's mentioned an actual date yet, but I do think he has mentioned July several times.
Yeah, a lot of the guys we're looking at will be coming off in July that haven't mentioned dates yet.
And I'll tell you what, I know we're talking about recruiting, but man, I tell you what, hat off to William Ing, that linebacker coach. Man, the last few years recruiting the linebacker position's been off the hook. You know, you had Ariane Carter, you got Spillman come in. Looks like he's going to show out this year. Last year's class was basically a fight with Georgia and Alabama for some of them guys last year.
Yeah,
I mean, those guys, even though those guys wasn't as highly ranked as these guys was, which is that's another thing I'd be curious to track. Some of those guys wasn't as highly ranked as these guys are, but it was like
the offer list.
Georgia, Bama,
Yeah, USC Trojans.
Yes.
For these guys, and of course we also flipped one Middle Tennessee kid from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
A commitment to Wisconsin, flipped to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. But you add these two, man. Our linebacker recruitment's pretty dang strong. But anyway,
well, think about it, Bob. When Heupel got there, I believe that first spring, they did not have a scholarship linebacker able to go through spring practice because of either injuries or a whole lot of defections going on at that time. And although we did get some people back, obviously, for that first season that were scholarship guys, that room is evolving, and it's still in the middle of evolving. I think we're seeing. I'm expecting a big jump in the on-field production this year.
And somebody I didn't even mention. You got T-Lander, who
came in with Carter.
Yeah, came in with Carter, and you had the guy whose name's escaping me bad right now, who come in last year.
You had Jaden Perlotti and Jaden.
No, I'm talking about the guy who come in with Spillman.
Oh, Burns.
Burns, yeah, Jordan Burns. I think Jordan's name.
Mm-hmm.
They really thought pretty dang highly of him.
Mm-hmm.
They just, injuries kind of kept him from making any noise last year.
Yeah, he was hurt all year.
Yeah, so our linebacker, man, I think it's going to be really good this year and really good from this year going forward for a good while.
Yeah. Ian has done a fantastic job back there. And it makes me wonder if we haven't increased our NIL pot
for that position. Must be a position that Heupel and Banks really value.
Or starting to put more money to.
Yeah.
And
maybe some spots have more value within the system. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some programs are going to be like, hey, I'm not too worried about linebacker. I'm more concerned about safety or whatever. But I think in this system, we value, and when our team's looking good, we got our linebackers making plays.
Well, our defensive line is deep, and I think it puts a lot of pressure on offensive linemen, and you're not getting a lot of them out there. They're taking up a lot of blocks and everything for the linebackers, allowing them to be mobile and move around.
Well, we noticed there a year or two ago, Tim, against Missouri, when we had a linebacker who, I won't mention his name, but he struggled, athletically, and Missouri targeted that position and exploited him over and over again, and it kind of killed us. And I think they went out and said, hey, we're not going to let this kind of thing happen anymore. We're going to have top-notch athletes at that position, and you're not going to exploit
And that's what they've recruited. They've recruited a lot of speed at the linebacker spot. Other guys coming off, Bob, I mean, let's look at this class as a whole, though. We talked about expect a few more 3-stars this year.
Yeah.
But this class is going to be still yet determined by some stars. And I believe for a change, it seems like we're going to go a little heavier on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, that's true. I
And it
mean,
could be because of some of the struggles we've had last couple of years on the offensive side.
true.
I believe Heupel thought when he got here, I will take anybody on the offensive side and score. Let's put our money and our effort into the defensive side.
Yeah.
But this year, right now, um, we're neck and neck with the top running back in the country.
Yeah, between us and Michigan. Savion Tyler.
Savion Hyder. There's a good shot at flipping the number one wide receiver in the country.
Tristan Key.
Um, we're in the mix in the top three or so that we know of for the top offensive guard in the country, Darius Gray.
Yeah.
Of course, we got Faison Brandon, who's
Right.
arguably the top quarterback in the country. He's in that mix for that.
Right.
We're definitely coming out for some star players on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
Several of them should be coming off the board in the next, well, in these cases, maybe a month or so. Hyder could take it into the fall. Keys could go another month before he decommits from LSU. It's hard to say.
But man, you get Keys and you got Legend Bay and King.
Yeah, let's not forget Tyreek King, who is shooting up the boards on these. He may be a five-star receiver before it's all said and done.
Looked great in a camp.
A Rivals five-star camp.
Yeah. So wide receiver recruiting pretty dang good too right at the moment. So so just don't get freaking out. Don't freak out over all the 3 stars signing here in the last few days.
Yeah, and going to in the next few days too.
Because
It's changed a little bit with that extra 20 scholarships.
yes, just remember that's some of these guys were guys who might not have gotten in. I'm not saying all of them, but 1 or 2 probably would have been not in that list had we not went to 105.
Yeah, but like I said, perfectly fine with them. I'm excited to have them on board.
Oh yeah.
And I expect some of these particularly to be immediately helpful on special teams. If you can run and you got some size to you, you can make an impact right there, right off the bat.
That's right. Remember, guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to win this thing right here. It's really nice. Over the next 5 videos, and we'll do a drawing on our video
On the 6th one.
Yes, to let whoever the winner is to know you won. We want to make
Good luck,
transparent and just let you know who it was that won. So guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.
And go Big Orange.
Go Vols.